Relief on the way for Americans who rely on SNAP benefits. The Trump administration announcing today that benefits will be partially funded this month. Keith Grant in the newsroom with some of those details. Keith?
Mike, states can give partial SNAP benefits for this month now. The U.S. Department of Agriculture told federal courts it will tap into a contingency fund to do so. This, of course, comes after 2 federal judges required the payments to continue. According to the official who oversees SNAP, there is roughly $4.6 billion in that contingency fund that can be used to cover November benefits. Officials have said fully covering those benefits would require $9 billion. People who need the food aid, though, may not see the payments right away. The USDA says it expects payment errors and significant delays because each state has different qualifications for people to receive SNAP funds. Now, more than 42 million Americans rely on SNAP to buy food. The federal government funds SNAP by sending money to the states, and then the states disperse the money. We reached out to the Kansas Department of Children and Families, who oversees the benefits in the state. They gave us this statement about an hour ago now, saying in part that it will first have to wait for a letter from the USDA to show how much money each SNAP household should receive. DCF says it has not received that letter yet, but once it does, DCF will determine next steps to issue the partial payments and let Kansas SNAP recipients know when they will receive.